You are white. You can tell me what to do and tell me why you're doing it. 167 pips, yeah?
Okay, 167. Okay. I'm going to start my move by moving the 13-5, and then I'm going to move the 24 by 2.
Yeah, that's fine. So
bring it on, Arthur v. Chris.
there you go.
This could be the surprise of the century.
So I've got a roll of 6-1, which is a no-brainer. I just make the bar point.
Okay. Being at war. Okay, 4 and a 2. I'm going to move the 8-4 and then the 6-2.
Okay, making the 4 points. So in any backgammon position, you have a choice, and there was a very significant choice there as to whether you should play 24-20 and 22-20, making my 5 point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the great thing,
I think I'd made a mistake there. That I rushed that.
And then you'll see that Extreme Gammon has decided it's giving you the option to reconsider your move. Okay. We're playing in tutor mode. Right. That means it's teaching as it goes. So let's play what you play. Yeah?
Okay.
And then in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, let's just go back here. You will see all of the possible moves listed from best to worst. And this is how we learn. So anything in black is a good move. Anything in green is slightly dubious. And anything in red is what backgammon players call a blunder. And the way to be successful at backgammon is to avoid blunders. So you're okay. You made an error. 6-3 now. So I've got choices. So before you make any move, you look at the candidates, and really, well, there are 3 candidates here. So let me show you. So I can do this. Right. But the loose hit is something that beginners are not very keen on. Yeah. I can do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And finally, I can do this. Now you already have, or I already have a blocking structure on the other side of the board. And this, I believe, is the right move. So I'm just going to run away. It might not be, but it is. So if you look at the top left, my move is in black. So now you're on roll again, and you've got a very awkward 4-1.
So I will be doing a... So my logic is initially I'm tempted to move the 24 by 4 and then the 22 by 1, but then I'm just thinking you're just going to be thinking I want to hit this guy. My intuition is to not do that.
Well, you can't create what we call an anchor, so you can't safety the 2 white blocks that are in my home board. So 4-1's a pretty dreadful roll.
Yeah.
But there's at least 5 moves worthy of consideration here.
So I'm currently in my head looking at 2 options. Yeah. Option 1 is moving the 13 by 5.
Yeah.
And then option 2 is moving 13 by 4 and then moving either probably the 24 by 1, right, which I'm not going to do. I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to move the 4 and the 1 to number 8.
So,
yeah.
Right. Now, I look at that position and I actually like the first move that you suggested, yeah? So we'll make the move, but this will be close just because of the type of position that we're in. And there you go. So it will say C hint. That's another option. So the first move that you suggested is absolutely fine. The problem with 13-8, which is what you played, it's just too passive. It doesn't enhance the position. And in the opening, you're trying to get your checkers to work. So backgammon is a representation of war, and you consider the 15 checkers as soldiers. So you've just moved a soldier from one safe place to another and done nothing to potentially develop the position next turn. And most beginners, intermediates are too passive. So violence might not be a good thing in the world in general. Is a very good thing in backgammon. Yeah. So
interesting.
Here we go. We'll play anyway. All right. 3-2 again. So now I've got 2 choices. I can hit both your checkers. Yeah. And just do that. And the second play is just to do that. After which I'll be 3 pips up in the race. You're not really threatening anything, so you try not to put checkers on your ace point too early. But this will distract you. You'll have to use all of your move to get your checkers back into the field of play. So that will be close. Now, again, if you follow my violence principle, this would be the play, yeah? And in fact, it is the play, yeah? It is the right play. So the difference between backgammon now and the backgammon of 50 years ago, now I've made a move and I can check whether it's the right move or not. 50 years ago, I would make the move and I would have no idea whether it was right or not. So progress was very slow until the advent of computers, yeah? So my other
And I think, yeah,
the other move, which is 15 to 10, is just passive. So activity is great. So I've rolled and hit 2 checkers and you've only come in with 1. So if you look at the pip counts, I'm 4 pips up. I've got a slight edge, yeah, because I'm threatening your other block in my board. And what we also do is count the number of checkers in the attack zone. Now, the attack zone goes from your 1 point to your 11 point. So I have got 9 checkers in my attack zone. So 8 is too few, 10 or 11 is great, 9's all right, yeah? So I'd look at the position, I'd decide you've got a better home board than I've got, and I'm not really threatening anything, so I'm not going to double. Yeah?
interesting.
Now I roll 5-4. Now my life gets interesting. So again, loads of options here. I can make the ace point and hit again. I could make the 3 point like this. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks spread around the board. Yeah? Can do just run for home. I've got a lead in the race, and if you don't roll a 1, I'm looking good. Yeah. There's this as a possible move as well. So that move advances the last rear checker and connects it to its friend in your outer board. So I think it's quite close as to what one does here. I'm going to go with this. So notice also the fundamental principle of backgammon, or one of the fundamental principles, is duplication. So you need a 3 to enter and make a point in my home board, but you also need a 3 to hit the checker on your 10 point, my 15 point, and you also need a 3 to hit from your 8 point to your 5 point. So that's not only duplication, it's triplication. So I'm feeling better about my move, but it may not be right. And it isn't, right? See hint. And it just running for home is correct. So I've just made a blunder. So the point about running for home is if I escape successfully, I'm a long way towards winning the game. So now you roll 5-4, which is another really uncomfortable roll.
Okay, I think I know what I want to do.
Yeah.
Which is I want to come in on the 4, and then I want to move the 13 point, the 5. My logic there is because if I come in if I try and run with one of them, I end up leaving in point for, I think it's like 16.
Yeah.
And statistically, you're very likely to be able to hit me.
Yeah.
With either your 10 or 12.
Yes. So what you desperately need is an anchor in my board, and by coming in on the 4 point, if there's a bunch of hitting, you've got 2 potential places to make an anchor, right? So you're right, if I you come out here and I've got 6 and 4s to hit, and that's 26 rolls will hit, plus, no, that's all, 26 rolls, plus I have numbers that point in board. The other point about the move is if you do this, now you've got a candlestick. You've got 5 checkers on the 8 point, and nothing much has happened to those checkers. The other move to consider, therefore, is the 4 here, and slot the 3 point with a 5, with the intent of building that point and strengthening your home board next time. So I'm going to guess that this is going to be an error. Yeah, C hint. Oh. And there's the other option. Okay, so slotting the 3 point was okay.
Yeah.
none of them are bad, but best is this. Yeah.
Can I just make a comment here? So it's funny because looking back at the first blunder, I'm excited about the game. I'm just so used to moving the pieces from the 8 and the 6, hence why I did what I did. But it's clear that, and I think this is just common of like how the brain works. We're used to just being lazy. Our minds just want to make we immediately jump to the obvious things.
Yeah.
And actually, this is a really good example of this role where it's not obvious, at least to someone of my level, to move and try and spread out the pieces from the 8s. Do you have any views or advice on in terms of just how to switch from being not, well, in some ways lazy, but just thinking outside the box and not rushing to a decision?
So your intuition was effectively to play safe, which we call Middle East backgammon, because that is often the way that in the cafes in the Middle East that backgammon is played. You play safe and then suddenly you find everything collapses in a heap because you've restricted your options so much that you have to leave a series of exposed checks which then get hit. So to go back to the analogy at the start, this is a war game and the soldiers have to do something useful. Yeah. And none of the moves that you look at here are a disaster. Yeah. But I'll try and show you hopefully what happens if you do this. Right. Play anyway. 5-3. So I've got two basic choices here. Play A, making the 10 point, and play B, pointing on you, which leaves me with a sort of ugly structure. Only hitting is correct, but that just doesn't look very attractive. I've obviously got this as a move, but again, that just leaves a blot exposed to a 6. There's an old adage in backgammon: when in doubt, hit. Yeah. So we're going to follow the adage and see what it says. Whenever it takes a long time, then it's going to, so the other move is correct. So that's fine. But it was a good demonstration. So old adages aren't always correct. Yeah.
5 and 3, okay, so moving your pieces to the 15 is the correct one.
But now you've rolled 5-3.
Oh, okay.
And this is easy. Yeah.
To hit, and part of the logic there, I'm just thinking off the top of my head here, but is if I hit you at number 17 rather than number 10, you've got a higher penalty. I'm bringing you back further. Is that correct?
Yes, there's a number of other things. So to hit on the 10 point, you have to give up the 13 point, which is called the midpoint. And one of the sort of basic principles of backgammon is that you do not give up the midpoint whilst you've still got checkers in your opponent's home board, unless you have to. Obviously, there are cases when you have to, but here, hitting on the 17 point is crystal clear. You gain in the race, you keep the midpoint. So this is right. 1-6. Now you can see how badly my previous move cost me. So now I'd be looking very good, but in this position, I'm looking very bad. My 6 is awful. I'll just keep the duplication of 3s. And now you're on roll.
Okay.
Here you go, 6-2. So again, backgammon is a game of pattern recognition. So that's why you don't get child prodigies. Because you need a library of positions in your brain that you can call up, and a series of algorithms and rules by which you play. So I look at this position and in an instant I can see the right move. So
it's funny, just to illustrate, going back to our previous conversation, how different brains work. I've always noticed, for example, a bit frustrating, but often I need to literally count each time I move pieces, whereas friends just move them. But the move that looks right from where I sit is 21, moving the 21, 6, and then the 17.
Yeah, so now you've made a point. You've advanced the rear checkers, right? Your checkers also communicate with each other, meaning that none of them are too far apart from any of the others. And that's another guiding principle for backgammon. So that was correct. Now I get 5-2, so I can make this point with the 5. Now the question then is, do I advance the back checker, right, or not? So the 5 is clear. Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm still going to be a little bit behind in the race after this move. I'll be 4 pips down on the pip count. And the checker on the 24 point is called a goalkeeper. Yeah? The goalkeepers are very useful because they stop you dumping checkers in your home board safely. So I suspect that the 2 is this, starting a new point. Yeah? So the 2 5 points are the 2 most important points on the board, and you want to make them as early as you can. Here I've started my 5 point, and I hope to be able to roll a 2 next time to cover it.
That's interesting, because when I was looking at it initially, I was thinking for you would want to move that 24.
Yeah.
But actually the value add isn't that high. Well, because your other piece is already at, I think at my 5 or whatever.
It's doing a great job, basically, that check on the 24. It's also under no threat, because you've only got one number that hits it directly.
Okay.
So now you've rolled 6-2. Again, there's only one right move in this position, if that helps you.
I think it does. Yeah, okay, I think I see it now. It's moving the 15-2 and then 6.
Yeah, okay. Another fundamental principle of backgammon: when ahead in the race. So you're ahead. If you look in the bottom right-hand corner, you're now 12 pips ahead. Okay. So 4-2, that's going to be very clear. The 2 is going to be 2. And again, the rear checker is staying where it is. And I'll just bring another checker down. So firstly, I'm trying to escape the rear checker if I roll a lucky roll. Secondly, I'm trying to strengthen my board. So the next point I want to make is my 4 point. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Now you roll again. 4-3.
4 and 3, okay. That's looking obvious in my first. Yeah, okay, fine. Right. Let's do that. So 16 and 17.
Yeah. So now you've made the best you will have made when I get the software to work. Right. So that's a huge improvement in White's position. Yeah. Massive.
Nice. And there's a bridge there now, isn't there?
Sorry, sometimes software pitches now 6-2. So now I'm behind in the race. I don't want to race. I'm certainly not moving the rear checker. I'm certainly not moving the checkers on the 15 point because they're getting in the way. Therefore, by process of elimination, I'm going to do this.
Sorry, why aren't you moving the 15s?
That's interesting. Okay, interesting. Right, so ignore that. Let's just go back. Why can't I go back? So I'm blundering here. So I wanted to keep the goalkeeper, but realistically, a checker on its own is subject eventually to attack. And this is quite interesting. So at the moment, I'm 13 pips behind. If I do this, I'm 5 pips behind. Right? If you roll a 4, you'll probably win the game, right? Because I'll then be on the bar, you'll be ahead in the race and all sorts of things. But if you don't roll a 4, then yes, you're ahead, but you're not ahead by much. So let's just go back. If I make the other play, I'm still landed with the problem of trying to escape the checker back on the 24 point, which is looking increasingly lonely. So sometimes in backgammon, you have to accept a slightly poorer position in the knowledge that all the other moves are worse. And doing that is very difficult, right? Because people hate getting into a marginally losing position when it looks as if you could play safe. So we're going to play the running play because I want to see if you manage to roll a 4.
Fine. And actually, doesn't that link to sunk cost theory where people don't like to swallow losses, basically?
Yeah. The most important thing you can ever do in backgammon is learn to lose, because you are going to lose a lot of games in your life. It's not like chess where if you're very good, you hardly ever lose. Games like backgammon, it's all about percentages. So if I can win 60% of the games that I play, I'd be a very rich man. So,
I think Roger Federer was saying how he's won 52% of his shots.
Yeah.
All points.
So the London League has been running for 20 years, which is the London Backgammon League, various clubs in London. I have won 70% of my matches in that time, which is pretty good. But then this is not a high quality league. If you look at other leagues that I play in, I'll be hovering around 52, 53%. But that 3% edge is enough. It's like being in a casino or a casino owner. The 0 and the double 0 are enough of an edge for you to end up a winner in the long term. And you just have to accept that.
Okay.
Right.
Here we go.
On we go. Now, sorry, I was talking. So, here, for the first time, we have a position where doubling should be considered. Yeah. So you're white. Would you double?
Yes.
Okay. So you're 5 pips ahead in the race, which is good. You also have a threat. Yeah? You're threatening to hit that loose checker on your 9 point. So do you know how many rolls hit it?
There are would that be
36 possible rolls in backgammon?
Would there be 1, 2, 3, 4 rolls?
So a long way wide of the mark. So to roll, if you have 2 dice and you want to roll a number, in this case a 4, right? 11 of 36 rolls will contain a 4.
11?
11, yeah.
Okay.
In addition to that, you've also got double 2 hits, yeah?
Yeah.
So you will hit the checker 1/3 of the time, 12 out of the 36 rolls. So that threat, in conjunction with the fact that you're already winning the race, makes this a double. So now we offer.
And if I was playing professionally, I'd want the points. I'd know you probably wouldn't accept that.
No, you would accept it. So
that you would.
Yes. This is so. If we look at this, so you're going to double, right? And I'm going to take. And then we look at. You can look at the percentage figures and go back and look at it on the bottom left-hand corner. So you will win 70% of the time. You'll win 7% gammons, but I will win 30% of the time. And if you fundamental doubling theory, which we're not going to try and explain today, you can take a double provided you have a 25% chance of winning. It ignores gammons and a few other things, but the fundamental rule of the use of the doubling cube is that to accept a double, you must be able to win approximately 25% of the time. So here I've got a very easy take.
Okay.
You've now rolled 6-1. You've missed the 4, right? So now we're going to get into a pure race. Yeah. So
what do I move with the? Okay, so with that I want to move 13-6, and then I move the 8-1,
and then you stick it in. Now you don't want to make the bar point. So you can't take your checkers off until you've got them in. So making the 7 point is completely irrelevant in this position.
Fine. Okay.
You just need to get them into your home board.
This is hard race now.
Yeah.
But that's a classic. My initial logic was to go down having a long bridge, but actually...
Yeah. So now I can safety the block that I have. Now, it's very important when you're moving the checkers around the board to use what are called crossovers. Crossover, it means moving a checker from one quadrant to the next. So I played the 5. I could play the 2, like that, but that's wrong. What I need to do is get my checkers into my home board as quickly as possible. So that's the 2.
Yeah, okay.
Hopefully that will not call that in. So you have one problem left. You need to clear the midpoint. Yeah. And look, you've just cleared it. 6-5. I hope you would find clearing the midpoint as the right play here.
I mean, my logic here would be moving the 13 both 5 and 6.
Yeah. So now there is no further contact. The outcome of the game will be decided by the dice. But there might be a bit of interesting doubling theory on the way. So my 5 is clear, I take a checker in. My 1 is very clear, I take a crossover. So I do this stuff on automatic, but if you don't know these fundamentals, then you have to work it out from first principles. And that's why beginners play very slowly, because they have no model in their brain to refer to.
Interesting. Okay, so with this one, I'd move both pieces from the 8, and my logic would be
Yeah.
because
You
we
fill
don't
the
have to enter
holes and you get them in as quickly as possible. So now,
exactly.
after all of this, you are now 21 pips ahead, which is a huge lead. 6-4 is good for me, so I can do 6 and 4. So now I'm only 11 pips down. Now, if you're playing live backgammon, you should keep a running count in your head, but that depends on your level of capability as a mathematician, or an arithmetician.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I play backgammon is I'm very good at mental arithmetic. I make no claim for having developed that. I was born with it. Yeah. So now 6-4. Oops, sorry. Come back to here. No, it's gone back a roll for some reason. Sorry about the software. 6-4.
A 6 and a 4 would be, I'd move them both from the 8.
Yeah. So there's another little adage. You can never have too many checkers on your 4-point in a bear off. So,
Okay.
and you want the spares on the 6, 5, and 4 points. So 6-3. I'm actually going to do this because I haven't got a checker on my 4-point, so I can take 2 crossovers and put a place.
Oh, that's smart.
Useful. Right, double 2. So firstly, obviously, you've got to move the 2 checkers in.
Yeah. And then I'm getting the hell out of there.
And then you take 2 checkers off. So backgammon is a simple game when played well. Double 4. Right. So now 1, 2, 3, and then the question is the 4th one. So
I would actually move from the 11.
Yeah, I'm going to take the crossover.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that always...
Well,
why is that the right move?
Because now, next time, I might be able to take a checker off if I roll a 5 or a 6 with something. If I played 11-7, both of my numbers would have to be used to continue to move checkers into my home board.
Okay, fine. Yeah, that makes sense.
4-2 is easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, how far behind am I? I'm only 10 pips behind. And another double 4. What a player. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, that demonstrates, it's really quite nice. So I've now got an empty 4-point on my side of the board. So every 4 that I roll, I will have to move a checker either from my 6-point to my 2-point or my 5-point to my 1-point. And then later on, I might have to roll a 6 to take that checker off. That's grossly inefficient use of numbers. So having an empty 4-point is a real no.
Okay.
When you've still got lots of other checkers. 6-5.
Yeah, so...
You take
exactly,
2 off. 3-1, I'm slowing down. Now you're only 1 pip ahead, but you've got 5 off and I've got 3 off. And the number of checkers off is important, and now you've rolled a really good number.
So I'm going to take 2 off from the 6, 1 off
2,
from the 3, and then I'm going to move the final one.
Like that.
Yeah.
5-2. I'm struggling to keep up. 4-3. Okay. Virtually always right to take checkers off. 5-3. I still have some hope. And in fact, if we look at the, you just roll double 5, and when it's a forced move, the computer plays it for you. Now,
okay.
Excuse me. Now, unless I roll a double 6 pretty quickly, I'm toast, yeah? So now if you roll a 2 or a 3, the game will have some interest. Well, there it is, all right? So now I need to take at least 2 checkers off to maintain the spectator's interest. 6-4 is no good. Right? I now have 5 checkers left, you have 3. So the game is over. I cannot win because I will need to take 4 checkers off next time.
Yeah.
Right. So you won that game. You won 2 points, yeah? And at the end of the game, the computer gives you a performance rating, which is now
here we go
on the screen. So you've played at World Championship level, and I've played at world class level. Yeah. So the number is important. So 4 and below, you're a very good player. 2.5 and below, you truly are a world champion. But nobody in the world can play at 2.5 and below. So the best players in the world play around 3 in terms of performance. And that number is calculated by looking at the moves you made and measuring them against the optimal moves for every position as you play.
Okay. Okay. So my performance rating is 2.45, and then
Yeah.
yours is 4.73.
But when you talk and teach, you always blunder, yeah, and you sometimes make them know is wrong to make a point. Yeah? This is the fun.
Yeah.
This is my teaching tool, and what we've just done, I do with students all over the world, and
Yeah.
you can look much more deeply into any position as well, and do all sorts of statistical analysis, which obviously is beyond the scope of what we're trying to do today. So there you go. So it would now go into another game, but I'm guessing there's other things you'd like to look at.
God, that was seriously fun. It's so cool that you can get a ranking because
Yeah,
performance doesn't feel like it's that visible when you're playing. And you know, I mean, I don't know. For me, that was so insightful, Chris, about all these really niche scenarios. And sometimes you go over it quite quickly on why you do things, but there was a lot of surprises for me there on what you did and really niche, useful points.
yeah.
Now, I think it could be fun just to play out the time again by having another game. But if you see it differently, then
If you want to do that, the point about playing games is there's always instruction in virtually every role. Yeah. So when with students and we get a really complex position, I'll break out, open a second window with the program running, and then we'll do a really deep analysis. Yeah.
Okay.
Right, so let's see how you play an opening 6-2.
Okay. So an opening 6-2. There's two options here. Either I move the 13 to 6 or the 24. Now, knowing that you're quite aggressive and that you support aggression generally, what do I want to do? I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to move the 13 6. I'm going to move the 24 2.
Right, which is a disaster.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
Following the basic concepts of opening play, and this, yeah.
There was I feeling slightly confident about that.
So, what are you trying to do in the opening? Three things. You're trying to make new points. You can't do that with a 6-2. Yeah. You're trying to unstack the heavy points, i.e., because you've got 5 checkers on 2 of your points, your 6 point and your 13 point. So that's grossly inefficient. Yeah. And thirdly, the 2 rear checkers are the furthest from home, so you need to get them going. Yeah. So given those 3 basic pieces of information, now play 6-2.
I'd move them both from the 24.
Again, so you've advanced the rear checker, but you haven't unstacked either of your heavy points, so that must be wrong.
Okay, what about moving the 6 from the 24 and then the 2 off the 13?
Yeah, so that is the standard opening move with 6-2 in backgammon. Yeah. There's one variation, but we're not going into that today. 3-2 is a mess. So I've got the option. I can do this, right? But it's a little bit desperate in a position which is it's only the second move of the game. So the standard play is to do this. So I've exposed 2 pots, but I've got the rear checkers going. I've unstacked a heavy point, and I've created duplication. You need 4s to hit on my 11 point, and you need 4s to hit on the 4 point. Okay.
And you're not tempted just to move that 5, even though it's very passive?
No, that would be awful. So again, 13-8 is somewhere down the bottom of the list of possible moves. Yeah? It's just so wrong. You cannot play passively. You can't play passive backgammon. Right?
Okay.
So my advice to students is I don't care how you treat your friends and your partners at home, but when you play backgammon, you really need to be aggressive. Right?
Okay, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
5 and 3. What are the options here? Sorry?
There are choices, but not many. Yeah.
I'm just trying to get out of the sort of psyche of just automatically doing stuff.
Sometimes the safe move turns out to be the right play. You could do this, but then that leaves the 2 blocks exposed. If you do this with the 5, then your choice for the 3 is this, getting the last back checker going, or safetying that checker and hoping for something really useful next time.
That's what I want to do. Is this
will be close to correct, and it is correct. I don't know whether advancing the rear checker was any good.
Such a useful software. This.
It's incredible. So advancing that rear checker was 0.006 of a point better. Right? So in other words, negligible. Right? So we just roll on. Now 3-1. Right. So I could make I can make the anchor, right, and do this. But you're
Yeah, I
going
would do
to have
that.
difficulty playing your next roll, and I've been offered the chance to make my 5 point, which I am not going to decline, because I'm not worried about the safety of my blocks in your board. Let's see what, and again, that's completely right. 5-1's really ugly, right? You've managed a series of really ugly rolls this morning, but don't worry.
Okay, so I'm looking at my pieces.
You've got a choice of one move here, by the way.
Okay, for me, I'm going to move the 24. I'm going to move the 24 to 18.
Right, so this is a reasonable attempt, but now you're going to get hit with any 6, 1, or 4. Yeah. So you have to think about how the numbers play. So the option is this, right? You've got an inferior board, and sometimes
13.
You have
13
to
to
accept
8.
the fact that. So if you look at 24-18, it's nearly a blunder, right? Just put another level of analysis. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Let's just interrupt that. Cancel. Close. So if I just put a quick. So with the software, you can look different levels ahead. 24-18 turns out to be just too risky, basically. And sometimes you have to accept what the dice give you. Now, 6-1 for me is quite awkward. So I'm not going to do this because that exposes a blot on the 8 point. I've got the choice of doing this, which is playing safe, which is ugly. Yeah. I can do this 6, which looks better, and then do something with the 1. Yeah. So maybe I advance to that, covering the outer boards. It's thinking too long, so it's going to tell me it doesn't like that. Let's have a look. See him. So another great lesson. If you don't see a move, you can't play it. Yeah. So when you're playing, you should always have the word candidates in your mind. What are the candidate moves? So here, this would certainly be a better distribution of the checkers. My play was wrong, but I didn't, for whatever reason, partly because I'm talking, but I didn't see the move. Yeah, you can't play a move you don't see. So now you're on roll. Let's hope for something better. 6-4. Not much choice.
So I can't do anything with the 23.
Yeah.
It took me longer to work out than I'd want to admit.
You're going to make a 2 point because there is no
fine.
play. Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah. Now I've rolled double 2, so this is great. 1, 2. Then I have to make another decision. Do I make your 5 point, which is a great point to have?
Yeah.
Or do I keep the goalkeeper and do this? Oops, sorry, not that.
You can do that if you
want. Yeah. So am I fear? So that's another great point to have because it will hinder your movement of your rear checker. And I look at your side of the board, and you've got 10 checkers in the attack zone, so I should certainly be slightly fearful. Yeah. Difficult call, I think. Probably. Let's just have a look at the other play again. So 2 of them are very clear. So you do that, and then you think about the others. This gives me a long-term advantage with very little risk, so I'm going to do that.
That's what I was going to move.
The computer happens to like that. The other play was okay, but not great. Now, 2-1. Not very good.
Okay.
That's all I would say. Yeah.
What am I going to do here? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to move the 6-2, and then I'm going to move the 23 by 1. So
certainly the advancing the rear checker is correct because now you've got 2 numbers that escape rather than 1. The 2 could be play 8-6, 6-4. 6-4 is probably okay. Yeah, it's fine. Well, I should think about doubling, which I haven't done. Right, 6-2. So how do you think I'm going to play 6-2?
I think you're going to hit me with the 5, and then you're going to move in the 6 to the 7.
Yeah. So another fundamental theorem of backgammon: the last checker has to pay a price to leave the theatre of action. Right. So I've just hit you so that if you now need to roll a 3 and then another number to escape. Secondly, if you stay on the bar, let's see what happens. 1-4, that's okay, right? 1-4, I think you're going to find very easily. So now I am 2 pips up, yeah? But I'm threatening to block you in, yeah? So if I roll a 6, you're going to have an uncomfortable position. Yeah. So I think I've got just enough here to W, because firstly, I'm threatening to block you in. Secondly, I've got the security of the anchor on your 5 point.
Yeah, which is a great place
Right,
to
so
be.
now
I'm going to accept that.
It's a take. Yeah. 2-1. So now I'm going to go 1. Yeah. So now I've got the
And then hit me.
Could hit you, but actually I'm going to threaten to make the 8 point or the 3 point and put the pressure on you. If I hit you, which obviously I can do, then the problem is 1s are good for you, but then 2s and 3s are good for you as well, because they're a potential tunnel to freedom. Right? So here, now I'm putting the onus on you to roll a 2. Yeah, hitting's certainly a consideration, right? But it's wrong in this particular instance. Recognizing that it's wrong takes expertise and experience.
Yeah, because that does not seem, now that you explain it, but it doesn't seem obvious initially.
So now we reach a key moment in the game. If you roll a 2, you're well in it. If you don't roll a 2, you're going to be in trouble.
Okay.
2. There you go.
So I hit you.
Yeah.
And then where do I want to move for? I'm going to move the 8. I don't think there is another option, really.
So that's play A. Play B is to develop this stack while your opponent's on the bar.
That seems very risky, no?
Yeah, it is. So you can see. So all you're interested in is getting home for Christmas, getting little Jimmy on the far side home for Christmas.
Yeah. I'm not going to retreat fully, but I'm in protection mode.
So 3-6. No, that's a really awkward roll for me. I could hide this one. Yeah. Or I can enter the field of battle and come out. So it leaves you 5s and 4s to hit. Yeah? If you come in and do this, you've got 1s, 3s, and 5s to hit the check on the 3 points. So I'm guessing this is going to be better. But this could be, right, so see here. Oh, and then, sorry, completely missed a play. Make the right play. So I safety the checker, bring another attacker, and very importantly, I've just duplicated 5s. You need a 5 to hit on the 8 point, and you need a 5 to hit on the 22 point. And duplication is a really big part of backgammon. 3-2.
Could you just explain what duplication is again?
Duplication is giving your opponent the same number to do 2 good things. So it then has to make a choice as to which of the 2 things he does. So diversification is the complementary part of duplication. Diversification means placing your checkers so that as many numbers as possible work effectively on your next turn. Yeah?
Okay, get you. I get you.
Now you're faced with a difficult decision.
Yeah.
So you can play passively and play this, or you can be aggressive and go for this. The reason for the hit is to protect the blot on the other side of the board.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I'm going to go aggressive.
Okay, so aggressive, and this time it's wrong. Yeah, and this time you just play safe. Yeah. So the aggressive play exposed another checker, and that was why it was wrong. So I've got 10 checkers in the attack zone, and you're just going to have to hope that you survive. So 4-2 is a great roll. Conversely, if you had hit, I'd have stayed on the bar, and it would work brilliantly.
But did I not say a hit?
You did. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I misplayed it. Oh, yes, we did hit, and it said it was a blunder. So I went back.
Yeah, but I still hit.
Sorry, I should have kept. Yeah, so you made
you
made the wrong move, and I corrected it. But now you've come in with a 2-5, which is brilliant because you come in and hit.
Yeah.
So that's top number. Now I've stayed on the bar. Whoa. So now we've got interesting time. So every move is a cube decision. Yeah. So should you redouble this position?
As things lie, so you can't come in now, can you?
So if you roll any combination of 1, 3, and 5, you'll hit the blot on the 22 point, and the game will be over effectively.
Okay, I'm just looking at where things are now. I'm doing considerably better.
So there are 3 things in any position
count.
that you consider when doubling.
Okay.
And the acronym is called PRAT, which P stands for position. Yeah. Who's got the better static position? Now, I've got a 3-point home board. You've got a 4-point. I've got a 4-point home board. You've got a 3-point home board. You stand slightly worse, but I've got 3 checkers back and you've got 1 checker back. So advantage to you. Second thing is race. And if you look at the pip count, you're already 42 pips ahead in the race, yeah? Which is massive.
Yeah.
And then T stands for threat. Do you have a threat which, if executed, will mean that your opponent won't take next time? So to go back to what I said earlier, if you make your 3-point or 22-point as it's numbered there, you will lose your market. I will certainly drop next time.
Yeah. So what was the A for again?
RA is race. So P is for position, RA for race, and T for threat. Yeah.
Okay.
So you've got a big threat here. It's a redouble. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Got you.
And it's a take. I've got many ways to win the game. 3-2.
Okay. 3 and a 2. Do I like it? So just looking at this now.
So when you get in the race,
I know it's boring, but my initial gut is to move on the 18 all the way to the 13.
Which is clearly correct, yeah.
Is that correct? Could there be a... Because it's just so hard for me to come back in.
Yeah. No, hitting is too risky. So now I've got a 3-5 and the game's going to get complicated. So I'm going to roll the 3, make your point, and then the 5... I'm going to do this, right? Because the 8-point is useful and I don't mind being hit. Because I hold 2 points in your board, that's a back game, yeah? Which means I'm in the game forever. Oh, you just roll double 5.
Yeah.
I'll speed things up. This is force. 2, 3, 4. So you cleared the midpoint. That was a sensationally good roll, yeah?
Yeah.
So now I am trying to make points in my board. I want to make the 2-point. I'm not giving up either of my anchors until I have to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
4-1.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'd move the 4 from the 8, and then I'd move the 1 from the 2.
Yeah, no need to expose anything. Here I've got 6-1, so I'm continuing my game plan of trying to make the 2-point. But very soon I'm going to have to give up one of the points in your board. 6-2.
I'd move the 6 from the 8,
Force.
and I'd also move the 2 from the 8.
Yeah. So now you've got an even number of checkers to bear in. Now, so I'm faced with a decision. Do I do this, which is an impurity, yeah?
Yeah.
Or do I do this?
Race.
It's not racing, but it's keeping the purity of my board.
So I would actually, I'd ignore the 7 because you'll get a 1 at some point.
It's not so much that. Keeping all the checkers in place. So making the 1-point here is okay. It's very close. Yeah. But you've just rolled double 1. Now that's interesting, isn't it?
Okay, and you're going to ask me what I want to do here. I know I don't want to land on you.
Well, you can play safe by doing this, right? Or you can create a 5-point prime with a bit of risk by doing this. Oops, sorry, jumping. Do the last one.
How's that feeling
roll
for
a
you?
1, your life is not looking as good, yeah?
Yeah. I don't want to do that. I want to be low risk.
Okay, so, sorry, let's just undo the move. Right, so what we're saying is, yeah, and that's the right move by a long way. Yeah.
And why is it to not... Because if the other option is to move 2 points from 17 to 19... But then you're quite exposed on the following goes, aren't you? So
what you need here is spares. You want time to get the outside checkers in with no risk, whilst my board goes south for the winter. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So now I've got a lovely board. Yeah.
Yeah. You are a threat, so I want to be low risk.
2-1.
And I've got time.
Yeah. So again, you could make the 5-point.
Yeah.
Or you can make the ace-point.
I'm going to make that one.
Yeah. So again, just giving me a gratuitous, oh, now it's going to tell me it likes the other one. Oh, sorry, it could do that. A 4-1 is perfectly all right, yeah? The key is not to make the 5-point. and give me a shot. 7-4 was better because it got a checker in. Now,
But then, sorry, can I just cut in there?
yeah.
But surely it's if I roll doubles, if I roll a 6 and a 5, for example, surely having 3 points, 3 checkers on 0.7 is quite nerve-wracking compared to 4, because just the nature of having to move 2.
But again, you've got to get them in, so you can't sit there waiting for a perfect number.
Okay.
So 5-2, I'm heading. Don't forget that in some variations you're going to win a gammon, right? Because I've got a lot of rare checkers. So that checker now is not doing a lot of good, and I've got a perfect board. 6-2. Well, 6 is forced.
And then the 2 I'm going to move. Where do I want to move? So I'm actually going to move that to the 4 because you told me how valuable the 4 is.
And you keep an even number of checkers on your 2 highest points. So you've got 6 checkers on your 2 highest points, which is correct technique. So I'm just going to come around here. I'm waiting for you to roll a disaster, basically.
Okay, 4 and a 1.
1 and 4. There's not a lot of choice, right?
Yeah.
So now we reach the crux of the game, yeah? So what's bad for you? Well, double 6 would have been bad, double 5 would have been bad, 6-4 would have been bad, 5-4 would have been bad. But luckily you didn't roll any of those.
So now I'm going to move. I'm actually going to move it from the 4 and just move it to the 1.
Keep the spare on 6 point. So now I can't keep my perfect board, yeah? So if I do this 6, I have to do this with the 3, and my board is gone. So basic theory of backgammon, you do not compromise your board when your method of winning is to hit a shot. So this will be the right play.
Okay.
Double 2.
I will be hitting you.
Yeah. 1-2. And then by doing this, you get me out of your hair.
Yeah.
Staying out.
That's not a fun place for you.
5-3 is forced. It's the only move that doesn't leave a shot. Staying out. 6-2. Nice and easy.
Yeah.
Now you want me to come in because you've got some horror numbers next time. Right. Oh, 6-1 is. So if I'd rolled any combination of 3, 4, 5, or you had rolled any combination of 3, 4, 5, and 6, you would have exposed the checker. 6-1 is absolutely perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you're safe for months. 5-2. So I come in and take a crossover. I should save the gammon, but were you to roll a double, I would be quaking. And 3-1 really doesn't help. 2 crossovers. 5 and 1. 4. Again, bearing in with perfect efficiency. 2 and 1. Now things would have to go very badly wrong for me to lose a gammon, but they can still go wrong. 4-3. Now if I roll 2-1, you can still win a gammon. 6-2. All excitement is gone.
Okay.
You just take them off. Normally I would resign, but finish the game for the hell of it.
Interesting.
And again, there you go. Look, 2 World Championship performances, which you can do with the help of the software. That's it. So there have been half a dozen decisions in that game where either player would actually have made a mistake, and then the performance rating would not be what you're on the screen. But you can occasionally do this. Yeah. So,
I don't know if looking at what's happened in the last 2 games, what you've illustrated is just how there's always options that aren't immediately obvious.
Yeah.
And a few general principles that are quite useful as well.
Yeah. Backgammon can be played at many different levels, which is why it survived for 5,000 years. So you can play, and lots of people play, and they play on the beach, and they only play on holiday, and they have a good time, but they're probably playing quite dreadful backgammon. But you enjoy it, and the whole purpose of the thing is to enjoy it. And then you can learn all the stuff that I've learned over my lifetime and apply that, and I'm still improving because I'm still learning, because I'm analysing. But at its highest levels, it's a deeply complex game, and the doubling cube makes it incredibly difficult. So without the doubling cube, the game would have died at the start of the last century. But luckily, it was invented, and the game will continue for many more years.
Chris, it's been such a privilege for you to teach us, and I know your lessons are available at the collective.community. And for me, what was quite insightful was just how important aggression is as well in general.
Yeah. So I've had a couple of students who in their daily life are very passive. They've read a lot of books, they've had a lot of lessons, they understand that you need to be aggressive, but they can't bring themselves to do it because it's not in their nature. And slowly but surely, I'm eradicating that, but that takes time.
Yeah.
Some people are very naturally risk takers and aggressive, and they will learn more quickly. So your capability of playing good backgammon is partly driven by your nature.
Yeah, I'm going to be downloading this. I know that there's a way to get it on a Mac, isn't there? Through.
Yes. So if you want, Extreme Gammon is a PC-based software system. There will be a Mac version in somewhere between 12 and 18 months, but anybody can run Windows program on a Mac using a virtual machine. So I use Parallels, but there's Boot Camp, there's a couple of others. So it's not completely straightforward, but if you need a bit of help, get it because it's worth it.
Yeah, and so easy for us to go through.
The actual program doesn't come with this nice color scheme because the user interface is 15 years old. So that part of it is about to be redeveloped as well. The colors that we're using in this board today, a guy called Rain has provided a series of skins that you can place over the basic computer to get much nicer color schemes. And the colors you're seeing here are the colors on the front cover of Paul McGreal's book Backgammon, which is still the Bible of the game. He was the first person to espouse basic principles, and that book has stood the test of time, despite the fact it will be 50 years old next year.
Yeah, and where was I in terms of expectations on level today? That early blunder, I made two blunders, both early in the games, but generally.
So there are only 15 possible opening rolls. So obviously it's very easy to learn the 15 possible opening rolls, but people still get those wrong. The opening roll and response, you're up around 600 possible positions after each player has made one move. And after the first player has rolled again, you're into the sort of 30,000 possible things. So you can't learn backgammon by doing what you do in chess and learning the openings. You have to be able to apply fundamental principles from the start. So the way you learn and develop backgammon is very different from the way you learn and develop chess. So
yeah, learning openings.
Even the response to the opening rolls. If you've got time, I'll put one position up. Right?
Yeah.
Say new. We've got two dice in that. I'll set up a position. Sorry, from new. Set up position. So I've opened with a 3 and a 2, which I play like this. How would you play? Come on. So you're white. How do you play 2-1 here?
There's two areas of options. Either I go hard on I could split the risk. Because you've already opened out and moved the piece from the 1 to the 4. I'm not inclined to move the 13 2. I'm actually thinking of moving the 24, both the 22 and 23, which you could be telling me that is absolutely sinful.
And this is a massive blunder.
Okay.
So we're going back to the violence bit. If you don't if you don't hit with the 2, then whatever move you made is horrendous. Yeah. So we do that. Come on. Why is it not? No.
But then I have to go all the way back on the 4.
It doesn't matter. What you're doing, again, think of it as a war game. You're trying to get soldiers on the field of battle in effective positions. Being hit in the opening is completely irrelevant. At the end of the game, when everyone's got strong home boards, it's massively relevant. But this is just not relevant. Yeah. So if I put the checkers back, so this was the position that I set up. Take the checker off the bar and put it here. And I then ask the computer, what is the right move? It's 2-1. It'll have a little think. And then you can see that anything other than the move that I just showed you is, some of them are disasters. Your move is a blunder. Yeah? So you apply the aggression theory, but again, every top player in the world will know the correct response to every opening roll with every possible dice roll. Over time, you acquire that knowledge. But it's 600 positions, so that's quite a bit of work. And again,
Right.
you get to be as good as the effort you put in. Backgammon, to learn backgammon to a good level, you have to put in a lot of work in terms of reading, studying, lessons, particularly watching videos of backgammon. Good backgammon online is a brilliant way to learn. So my best student is an American student in LA. And when we started 2 years ago, he had a performance rating of 12. Now, he has done everything I have told him in terms of how to learn, how to practice, and who to play with. So he's now on a PR of 6, which is very good for someone who started 2 years ago on 12. Yeah? And I can improve anybody's performance, but it's down to the student how much work they put in to achieve that development.
Yeah, that
It's
makes a
like
lot of
everything in
sense.
life. You don't get anything for nothing.